think it's only fitting to start this episode off just with a big, deep sigh, because, oh man.
Oh, you are teeing this up so good. Enzo, to me, looks like a more agile, basically a young Chess Fabregas.
It's a Rolls Royce, man. Gotta sell it.
Messi is the Jorginho of international football. That was a dumb take.
The flag stays down!
Welcome to another episode of the Flag Stays Down podcast. Got a full house tonight. Got myself, Andy. We got Parker. We got Matt following up on a Chelsea win over Brighton. Parker, we'll start with you. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. It was a bit of an early one. It was a 7 a.m. kickoff, and I was up too late on Saturday night for that one. So it was an early morning for me, but always good to kick off a Sunday with a win. I was telling you, Collins, earlier, it almost didn't feel like a win. It felt like a gritty win, but good to get one. Good to get the 3 points. So weekend overall was great. Got a lot of stuff done around the house, got a lot of stuff ready and organized for Christmas. So went shopping for all the nieces and nephews, got Carolyn a couple things. So overall productive. I feel like in my work busy season, weekends are just like to catch up on the shit I should have done during the week. But like when you work from like 6:30 a.m. until like 6:30 p.m. and then you go to the gym and then you come home and eat dinner, you basically go to bed. So shit doesn't get done. So that's what the weekends are for. And overall solid weekend. Matt, I heard you had a little bit of an eventful one. You wanna elaborate?
Yeah, I'll touch on the highlights or the lowlights, depending on how you want to look at it. So got sick on Thursday, both my wife and I. So that was a lot of fun, especially with an 8.5-month-old running around. Trying to keep up with him when both of us really can't move was an interesting task. But parenthood things, I guess. And then I was with my son most of the weekend. My wife had to work overnights, Friday night and Saturday night. So just me and him, which means just hanging out with him all day and getting up with him in the middle of the night and feeding him and all that fun stuff. So just a long weekend. But everybody's doing better. I'm obviously doing better because I'm here. But all's good right now. I was up early anyways. I was up at 5 o'clock with the little guy. So could have been a 6 a.m. game for all I care. I would have been ready to go. But it was good to actually be able to sit down and watch a game for the first time in what seems like forever. But hey, 3 points is 3 points. We'll take them. Collins, what's going on with you? How was your weekend?
Man, mine. We've had 3 completely different weekends here. You got the chill one, you got the sick one, and you got the I don't know. Mine was a cluster. No, it's birthday weekend in my family. My mother's was Friday. My son's is tomorrow, and then mine's Wednesday. So it's been a lot of running around, celebrating, a lot of cake, a lot of I don't know, wrestling 10-year-olds to sit in their damn seats at the hockey game. No, it was a lot of fun. Just looking forward to having Wednesday off for the Manchester United game. Getting a chance to watch that one in a little bit of quiet, with the exception of Matt being there, asshole. No, it was good. I'm looking forward to a good week here too. But Matt, I see you're wearing your USA training kit today. Big news this weekend: Tim Howard inducted into the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame because we call it soccer. Matt, how's your buddy Tim Howard? What do you think of that?
He can fuck right off. He's terrible. Just with whatever broadcasting shit that he does, shut the fuck up. Nobody likes him. All he does is shit on Chelsea, blows Everton, and any team that is going up against Chelsea for that matter. And it's evident every single time that he has to talk about Chelsea, he just shits on them every time. Never has anything good to say. Like, shut the fuck up, you stuttering piece of shit.
I think it would be a hard job to have, to especially soccer, where like rivalries run deep and hatred is evident. I think a lot of people struggle with that on the reffing side and on the broadcast side, where you have to sort of be unbiased, and it doesn't seem like he tries to even hide his disdain for Chelsea ever. It comes across quite evidently, and I guess it's nothing new for us, because it seems like, it's Chelsea versus the world a little bit. We don't have a lot of people praising us in the media. We don't have a lot of people talking good on our behalf. We're sort of used to it, right? We're the villains a lot of the time, even though City's done what we've done in buying players, and other teams have been acquired by rich folks who spend lots of money and do other things, break other rules, whatever. It seems like Chelsea, it's always just the spotlight on us, which is fine. But it just, I guess I'm just so used to it by now, where it doesn't even really faze me. Like, bring it on.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the numbers now, because I've always wondered why Tim Howard hates Chelsea. He only beat Chelsea 5 out of 30 times in his career at Everton. Gave up 42 goals, couple yellow cards, of course. So, yeah, it's just blatant. It's blatant bias against Chelsea every time he's on. And I want to expand the conversation a little bit broader into the entire broadcast team. I know we all like we like the Robbies, right? Robbies are great. Rebecca Lowe, wonderful when she's on. But man, some of these Sky commentators. I think we had the same team we had last week in Newcastle, right? The Irish guy and the guys whose name I can't pronounce. But in that one, it was, Newcastle injury crisis. Oh no. I'm like, okay, we went through the same thing last year, got nothing. And then this week, it's, not a penalty, never a penalty. Milner just showing his class there. Oh, penalty. Like, come on, guy. Like, the bias runs from start to finish in a broadcast, it seems like.
So was it a penalty? I mean, you want to tackle that right now, Collins?
Let's do it. I was planning on shifting to a positive note, but while we're on it, let's talk penalty here. All right. So Mudryk using his speed, breakaway down the middle. James Milner, who had just recently come on, lunges at him. I don't know how you want to describe it. No penalty given initially, goes to VAR. Surprisingly, we get a call via VAR. Penalty given, Enzo scores. Big moment in the match, I would say. But how would you guys rate that as a call? How would you guys rate the officiating on that?
I thought the initial call was a miss and a bad one. Milner never made an attempt on the ball. Never. He was trying to push Mudryk away with his shoulder, and at the same time taking out his left leg, which he's trying to plant on to go around. It seemed pretty clear to me. VAR confirmed that, and Collins, to your point, listening to the commentators, such a dumbass. But to me, it was very evident, very clear. I think that we got the right decision. I would have understood that had the scenario been flipped. I would have understood it. I would have said, initially I would have been like, oh, he got him with the shoulder, a shoulder to shoulder. But then like you start looking at it, it's like, no, he didn't make a play on the ball. No, he actually took out his left leg, which made him go down. Like he wasn't in the process of falling down yet. So I think that was a very clear penalty in my view.
I think it would have been a hard one to give live. It was a bang bang play, and so I don't know. It would have been a tough one to judge live like that, but that is why VAR is in place, so you can take a look at it from a couple different angles. I thought it was a penalty. He shoulder checked him, which I get the whole shoulder to shoulder thing, but you can't also just take someone out shoulder to shoulder. Like there is some excessive force involved in that. And if that play happens as a breakaway and Miller checks him like that and gets tangled up with him, and Mudrik's got 30 yards running towards the goal, I think it could even be a red card. I mean, like it's denying a clear scoring chance, and I think he takes him out. So he gets no ball. I mean, there's no debate there, right? He gets no ball, takes out a player and a goal scoring opportunity. Like to me, it's kind of like check down the line, check down the line, check down the line. And I don't really care how it looks. Like that, those are the facts. So I think in the end he got it right. And I thought all of like the penalty calls or shouts throughout the game were sort of correctly identified and correctly assessed. I know that there was a lot of cards given in the match. I actually thought we were on the beneficiary side of the refereeing in this match, because I thought Caicedo should have been sent off. So it's rare where I think we got the better hand of a refereeing dispute. And in this match, considering he went and corrected the VAR decision and Caicedo got to stay on the pitch, I think we won the ref battle this week.
See, I think they were, as a term Matt likes to use, consistently inconsistent. How many times do we see Caicedo, shove somebody off the ball, throwing bows, going reckless, 2-footed challenges, already being on a yellow, and it just gets waved off. But I will say that the exact same thing happened with Billy Gilmore. Billy Gilmore on a yellow, probably 5 fouls after that. None of them light challenges, shoving after the play, all kinds of stuff. Had Billy Gilmore been dressed in Chelsea blue, he would have been sent off. But going back to the penalty, I could go either way. I could see where it is a penalty, absolutely. And being a Chelsea fan, I was hoping it was a penalty. But had that happened to us, Parker, like you said, had it flipped, I would have been throwing up my hands. Like where? That's a, like Matt said, shoulder to shoulder contact, like just a bump and run kind of thing. But talking about James Milner and his, using his experience. No, if he was using experience, he would have let Jason Steele come out and get that ball. Keepers have so much more leeway in those 50-50 challenges. That would have been the play. That would have been the smart move, instead of concede the penalty, concede the goal. But yeah, in terms of officiating, it's just typical English reffing. I am happy with VAR though. VAR was 100% spot on today.
I think for me, the biggest thing is there was no consistency in what was a yellow and what wasn't. There was absolutely none. I forgot who it was, but like somebody like just had a foot out and somebody tripped over them like accidentally, and that's a yellow. I'm like, they barely touched him.
João Pedro trying to spin around Enzo.
Yeah, like how is that a yellow? That's the biggest thing. There's no consistency. Connor's first one, yes, definitely a yellow. Second one, I think if that's in a normal course of play and he doesn't have a yellow, then that would maybe be a first time yellow, but that's not a second yellow. He really doesn't get it. He really doesn't clip him. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't clip him that hard or anything, but like he barely grazes him. He goes in, he's sliding, he clips the trailing leg of Billy Gilmore, which causes him to go over, and then wins the ball. Like, Gilmore was already kind of on his way down, but I don't see that as a second yellow. I think that's just a normal foul. Caicedo probably should have been sent off on multiple occasions. Thankfully he wasn't, but it's just really weird that the officials are under so much scrutiny right now with all the shit that's been going on in the Premier League, and there is still no improvement at all.
Well, Matt, let me rewind for just a second, because you brought up Conor Gallagher. We're gonna go a little off script here. This was not in our pre-pod plan, but it's been festering, we'll say, in the group chat and in pre-pod here about Conor Gallagher. Second straight match where we've had our captain sent off in the first half. Third time, I believe, Conor Gallagher has seen red in 2 years. What is Conor Gallagher? Why is Conor Gallagher? When is Conor Gallagher?
So for me, Conor is your enforcer in the midfield. If you need somebody to actually go out and win that midfield battle, you need somebody like Conor Gallagher. He toes that line of yellow and red, right? We know what he's about, right? High energy, disruptive, just work ethic through the roof. That's what he does. That's why he's out there. That's why he's earned that spot. This year, he has done, in my eyes, a phenomenal job of stepping up to the challenge of playing with Enzo, also having Caicedo, like two big name guys to also share that midfield with. He's done a very, very good job. And I think we've all mentioned it numerous times, just the way that he's able to disrupt plays, gain possession back. He's kind of like the no nonsense guy, right? He's just, all right, I'm going to go get the ball. Whatever happens, happens. Now, there is an element of maturity there. We all know, I think it was the Palace game last year, early in the season, where he got sent off in like the first 20 minutes or something, right? But that was like his first chance of like actually seeing the first team at Chelsea and making a start. So he wanted to obviously make an impact, and he did in a negative way. He's reined that in. I think this was, in my eyes, I think it was a little harsh to give him that second yellow, but that's not to say that he wouldn't have kept going on with that same kind of vigor as the match went on, and he definitely could have gotten himself a different yellow. So that's just the way that he plays. And when you're looking at a team like with Caicedo and Enzo, right, you need somebody that can really boss and control that midfield, and he is that guy.
Do you guys remember the movie Old School when James Carvell debates Will Ferrell's character, and James Carvell goes, that was perfect. I have nothing to add. It's kind of how I feel about what you just said, Matt. I mean, that was very, very well said. I agree with everything you said. Gallagher, the only thing that I want to see going forward with Gallagher is a level of maturity in situational plays. And I wanted to see it with Reese last week as well, in the sense of, you're on a yellow, you have to dial it back a notch or 2 notches, and you need you being out there hustling and defending and playing good football is more important than winning that one ball or being in that. And he's still young. And I was talking to my wife about this. We forget how young he still is, considering he's a veteran of the team, ? He's one of the longer standing players on Chelsea. He's only 22, 23 years old still. And so he's still learning. He's still trying to figure out his place in that team. But I think I think he does bring more to the team than than his replacements do. And I don't know who you start over. I mean, today, I don't know who you would put in there above him, considering Nkunku's not fit and Lavi is not fit. It's Les, right? It's Leslie Oguchukwe, and I'm not playing Les over him. So it's a debate when Lavi is healthy. It's a debate when Nkunku's healthy, when we have a fully fit midfield. But today, there's absolutely no one unseating him.
See, I think that's the problem is we've got players out. For me, Gallagher's a squad player. He's not a full first team starter. I don't think he should be guaranteed first team starter. And I mean, here's the thing. Yes, he is one of the veterans on this team. He's 23, but this is his fourth full season of Premier League football. And he's still committing dumb errors like that. I think he has the footballing IQ of, I don't even have a comp for it, but it's very low. It's a low number. To me, he's a running merchant, right? And he'll give you the Timo effort all over the pitch. Doesn't necessarily lead to results. As much as you would think, it just leads to problems. I like that he's that enforcer. I like that he can come in and knock people off the ball, but I don't think that's a role suited for somebody playing 90 minutes. You're asking for second yellow and yellow card suspension situations with him. That's somebody you bring on in the 60th minute, 65th minute to just fuck shit up. I don't think Conor Gallagher needs to be sold. I don't think he needs to be loaned. I don't think he needs to be released. I think he needs a lesser role in this squad. I think when Lavia comes back, I think when Nkunku comes back, I think you're going to see Cole Palmer move into that third midfielder role. I think you're going to see Lavia move into that third midfielder role. And Gallagher's going to be that energy off the bench, that spark plug, so to speak. But he's not a player at this point in his career who you can rely on for 90 minutes.
I think with all of our injuries, he's one of the few people that can actually go 90 minutes. But no, I hear you. I just, because right now we have the creator with Enzo, we have the defender with Caicedo. To me, Gallagher's like the hybrid. He's kind of the middle. I'm not saying his attacking prowess is anywhere near Enzo's. Like, I'm not making that comparison by any means, but he is able to drive the ball forward when he needs to. He is able to track back and break up a lot of those transition plays, right? He's able to do that. It's been his red cards have been not the greatest, right? We've kind of touched on that. They haven't been the greatest. At the same time, I don't have a problem with him doing what he's doing, as long as, to Parker's point, there's a learning that comes with it. There's a lesson, there's a maturity that comes with each and every single one of those, right? I think that is going to happen. I think we've already started to see it, right? We started in preseason, we got to here. We've already seen a lot of that maturity. We've seen what he can do when given an opportunity, right? When he was on loan at Palace, he was Palace's best player. He was their player of the season. So we know he can hang in the Premier League. As of right now, I think when Lavia does come back, when Nkunku comes back, is he the most likely to be kind of the guinea pig that is going to be the replacement, right? He's the most likely. I still don't think that means that he's losing his spot at all. I still think with Nkunku coming back, Lavia, like, they have to show that they can still be healthy for more than 90 minutes, right? And it's going to take them even more time than that, right? Because they're not going to come and play a full 90 right off the bat, right? It's going to be staggered, kind of like what we saw with Reese when he came back. It's going to be slow progressions, and things like that. So I think it's a learning. I think that he's mature enough to understand the mistake and know how to move forward. And I think if we eliminate that rashness with when he is on a yellow or anything like that, kind of living dangerously and towing that line, I think he's going to be a tremendous asset for this team, and definitely more than just a squad player.
The last thing I'll add to is just I have no idea how good Lavia is going to be on this team. I have no idea if he's going to be a stud or an absolute flop or anywhere in between. I have no clue whose seat he takes. So before I talk about like Lavia coming in and starting and being a part of our 11, he's got to show me something, because I haven't seen anything out of him yet. And he hasn't been able to. I get it. But like, he hasn't shown me anything. Connor showed me a lot of what he can bring to the table, and I've seen more good than I have seen bad from him. And so right now, today, I think he's one of our better players. Like, I think he's been a solid, good player for us this year. I don't know if he's part of that starting 11 in and out cup final, your best 11 every single match. Maybe not, maybe. It's a debate, but he's at least earning it on the pitch. It's not just being talked about. At least he's showing me something, and he's shown me a lot of good stuff. I've been genuinely impressed with him for a lot of this season. And that didn't mean much last year. A lot of people had bad years, so standout performances were still bad. But this year we've had some good performances. We're on sort of a rebound, and he's stepped up his game, I think.
Well, somebody who's stepped up their game and a part of that midfield trio is Enzo Fernandez, scoring his first Premier League goal with a header off of that body of shield ball was just chef kiss. Oh, love it. And then, as we mentioned earlier, scores the penalty with Cole Palmer waiting to be subbed on. Parker, I'll let you say it, because every time I say it, Matt makes fun of me. So go ahead.
I'm not even going to say he's back, because he never left, baby. He never left. And I think it's funny. Like, it doesn't take much for like a masterclass, Enzo performance to happen. I mean, he doesn't score much. And so I think the 2 goals definitely helps kind of shed some light on the performance. But I think all of us agree that his performance was great outside of the goals. And, he did a lot for us. And it just kind of, it shows that the highlights are on goals and assists, as they should be. I mean, it's the only stat that matters. But to us, when we try to analyze and break down games, you see more of the nuance, you see more of the controlling play and winning those little battles, and how it feels more like chess when you're looking at a match over 90 minutes and you're seeing people change their strategies up, and you see how people can attack certain areas and win certain battles. When we're winning the midfield, we're dangerous. We're a good team. And Matt, my favorite part about today's match was when you sent in the text, like, this is fun, right? Because it just felt like we're just rolling, right? It just felt like things are clicking. We know where people are going to be. We can send balls in, and just people are starting to read each other's minds about where to go. Still a couple of hiccups there. I think Mudryk is on different wavelengths than people sometimes, and him communicating what he's doing to other people can get lost in translation. But for a lot of the match today, people were clicking, and I think Enzo makes that click and makes that happen. So bravo, man. Stand-up performance, and I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it for his confidence. You could see him starting to beat himself up a little bit about his performances, even though I don't think they were bad. They just weren't elite. And so when he drops down a peg, I think he expects more out of himself. We expected more out of him too. And yeah, it's great to see him get back on that horse, baby.
If Enzo scores a goal and nobody's there to see it, did he actually score? We finally got the answer to that question. Collins, I wanted to text you, but I wasn't able to do it quick enough. I wanted to say, but he still hasn't scored with his foot. he only scores with his head, because that's been kind of the running joke with us is, he's missing his shooting boots. And well, technically from open play, yeah, we're still looking for that one. But anyways, it was great to see. I'm glad that, he found that small little pocket of space. Just able to very cleanly just notch it home. Penalty. We know that he's missed one early in the season. And now with Cole Palmer and Raz kind of taking them after Fernandez had the miss, seeing him just go and kind of step up, just no BS, right down the gut. Beautiful. So I'm very happy. It's what we expect out of Enzo, right? Not necessarily like all the goals, but just his performance. It's what we expect. And Parker, to your point, when you set the bar so high, any deviation from that is drastically noticed. And that's just the thing. He's that good. So it's good to see him regain that form that's been slipping for the last, I don't know, maybe 3-4 matches ish. And even then it's not a big drop off, but because it's Enzo, we see it as kind of like, oh, that was bad. But all in all, just another great performance from him.
Yeah. Parker, you said it perfectly with that he never left. And Matt, I know you hate stats, so this part's for you. Enzo Fernandez this season in the Premier League among midfielders, and it's per 90 stats per 90. Through passes first, and these are completed. Forward passes, Matt, I know you hate back passes and side passes. Forward passes, second among midfielders. Long passes, second. Passes into the final third, second. Progressive passes, third. He didn't drop off. There was a slight dip in form, I would say. But Matt, as you said, it is what he set the bar so high that even the slightest drop looks catastrophic to some people. And it is unfortunately measured off of goals and assists, and now he's on the score sheet. So perfect. But Enzo, masterclass. But Parker, I'm glad that you mentioned Mudryk. We're gonna go off script again. What kind of day did he have? I've thought about it. I put him in my man of the match poll, but was he man of the match worthy? Man of the match poll worthy. Sorry, let me correct myself there.
I think he's deserving of the poll, I guess. I mean, I didn't consider most of our defense in there except for Silva. So I threw Silva in the man of the match conversation. I thought Sanchez had a good game. Thought Enzo had a good game. So then you're between Nico, Sterling, Caicedo, and Gallagher. Kind of a toss-up, but I mean, I thought Mudryk had moments. Not the best of his games. But the thing I like about him is he shows his brilliance once a match at least. He shows like that glimmer. And I want to see it more consistently. I want to see him, as I mentioned earlier, get on the same page with his players a little bit more and be on that same wavelength with them, because I think like the link up play is what's kind of missing a little bit. He's all himself a lot of the time, where he wants to do a lot of things and create a lot of things himself, and he's got one gear, and that's go. I think he needs to learn how to anticipate his teammates a little bit more. But that dipsy do and run and shoot that he had, I mean, it is exactly what you're looking for. It reminds me of Hazard, right? I think we've said that on this pod before, but those kinds of moves remind me of Hazard, where he just is able to like turn and go and just find himself in space. So I think for me it was fine. I think he hustles back on defense. He plays decent, all right defense, when he gets back, and then he's able to be an outlet pass. Sort of middle of the road game for me.
Yeah, it's for me, I thought it was a great game because he played more than 60 minutes. I think that's the biggest takeaway is he made it 80? I think he got subbed off in the 80th. That's good to see. Yeah, I think the biggest issue that I have with Mudryk isn't Mudryk. It's Jackson. Because so watching the game, it's just something that I noticed. Anytime Jackson gets the ball and tries to like advance it, he is head down, not looking up, trying to weave through 3-4 different people when he has options that he can play off of and go. Something's got to change with that. So I think it's the partnership between Jackson and Mudryk that needs work. As far as, left back with Levi or Kukurea or Chilwell, like that's all gonna come in time. Just because Kukurea was out. Levi doesn't usually play left back. We know he can, but he usually doesn't. Chills is out with an injury. And even when Kukurea was consistently at left back, Mudryk wasn't playing a ton. So it's tough. He's trying to work on that left side partnership, but that partnership for him seems to be always changing. But the one constant is always with Nico Jackson. And just seeing some of the decisions that he made today, I remember it was they just made a pass halfway, and Jackson was trying to dribble between 3-4 people, and he had Mudryk just right up top. He could just send him and go. No, Jackson ended up losing possession of the ball. Like in that moment, it's like you gotta try and help yourself. Use your teammates to help yourself. I think he's trying to do too much with that, but at the end of the day, like you said, we see the potential that's there, right? We know what he can bring. He had a great cross that went in as well early in the first half, and Jackson, I think, wasn't able to get there in time or something like that. But it was a beautiful ball in. Like, we know what he can do. It's just getting him the ball and getting him the opportunities to do that. And I think that link up play with Nico would definitely help that.
Yeah, I think a lot of what goes into that. We talk about the potential, we talk about link up play with teammates. The big thing is that we're seeing growth. We're seeing him getting towards that potential, right? It used to be we'd see a flash of brilliance maybe once out of every 3 appearances from him. Now, Parker, like you said, it's like 1 per match. Matt, you talk about the link up with Nico and with other players. Mudryk wasn't offsides today. Our players found him as he was making the run, not after he made the run. So it's all about that consistency. If you let Mudryk consistently start, I think you're going to start to unlock him. I'm looking at what he's played this year and going back to the beginning of the season, 6 starts, 7 sub appearances. There's no consistency there. He had a stretch of like 3 games where he started every match, but since then it's kind of alternated. I realize that, Sterling's been playing really well. I realize that Cole Palmer been playing really well. You can only play so many people at a time. But we invested a lot in Mudryk, and we see those flashes. I think he's somebody that you need to start trusting more and more as this season goes on, especially as we get into a hectic schedule here.
And I know, like, we've kind of talked about this too. Like, he can be that, like, can he be that guy off the bench? He's got such pace. We know what he can do. He needs more than 10 minutes to get in, to actually get invested into the game, right? A lot of times he maybe gets a touch and that's it. Like, he needs time to grow into the game. he needs, like Collins, you said it perfectly. He needs to play more. He needs more consistency as far as play time goes. I think that's the key is get him out there, let him adjust and start figuring out these different partnerships that he's dealing with. And at this point, what better time? You have a bunch of people coming back. You have whole new partnerships that are going to be developing and new players getting used to one another. It's a perfect time to do it right now.
Especially with United, Sheffield, and Everton as our next 3 matches. There's going to be plenty of offense. I would knock on wood right now, but I would hope. All right. Well, let's end on a negative note here. And then Mihajlo Mudryk, one of the few not to get carded in this game. We now lead the league. We are top of the table in terms of cards in the Premier League. I believe 47 is the number. Just crazy numbers. We've talked about Caicedo trying to get sent off. We've talked about Jackson, not about yellow cards, but we've talked about Jackson. He's had his issues. Dissent seems to be a lot of it. Enzo picks up a dissent card today. What is happening? What's going on with our club here?
For me, I attribute it to the average age of our team. And yeah, it's a team that's going out there with a lot of pressure on them to make things happen, but we're a young squad. And when you're a young squad in the Premier League, it's you got to keep your head. I just think like our guys get into situations where they find themselves, I don't want to say panicking, but doing things a little bit out of character and doing things to make up for lack of positioning. You look at Thiago Silva, and I don't know where Thiago Silva is on that chart of yellow cards, but I have to say it's probably pretty far down. And Thiago's not the most athletic guy out there. He's not the quickest guy out there. He's officially now today the oldest center back to play in a Premier League match. And it's all about positioning. It's all about mental fortitude of knowing what your guy's going to do before he does it, kind of things, to position yourself. And that's, I go back and forth on my thoughts on Silva. Should he be out there? Should we be, fostering our young CBs and getting them a chance to grow in with the rest of the team? But Silva's leadership and just like demonstration of masterclass of where to be and how to be there is invaluable. And I think we need to learn a lot more from that, of this is where you need to be. Here's the situation that's going on, and like figure out a way to position your body in a way where you're not giving up cards, but you're making solid tackles. Sometimes I think we're go, and when we turn over, we can find ourselves conceding cards in those situations. And I think it's just a little bit of a lack of maturity on the pitch.
I like the aggression that our team shows. I like those yellow cards. Now, Connor, again, I will say is stupid for being aggressive when he's already on a yellow and knowing the club that he plays for. But it's the damn dissent ones. Like, guys, the Premier League officials come in the preseason. They say, hey, these are the things that we are focusing on. These are the things that are going to get you carded this year. And what do? Throw up our hands and cuss at the ref every match. I don't know why. I don't understand it. And yeah, it might be young team thing. It's frustrating. But like I said, I will take the yellow cards for hard tackles. I will take the yellow cards. I'll take a Sanchez time wasting yellow card. I thought that was great. He wasted so much damn time in this game. Top 3 keeper. But I'll take the post match yellow cards that Pochettino and his staff and some of these players get. I loved all the chirping and tussling there was after today's game. I loved it after the Spurs game. It's good to see the fight in the team, but get rid of the stupid ones. That's my one ask out of this team.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing, and I'll go to bat for this one. Sure. It's the inconsistency of the officiating, right? You really don't know what you're going to get from each official day in and day out, right? Like we've seen when if you're not supposed to be talking to the official because you're not the captain, and we've seen somebody get carded one week because they did that, and the very next week you have the entire team surrounding the official and nothing happens. Like what's got to give? Like something, there has to be a clear line drawn. I don't think there is. So it's like, oh well, I did this with this official last week, I'm gonna do it again, and oh now I get in trouble, right? It's you keep towing that line, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh well, I was able to do it last week, but I guess I can't this week, and by that time it's too late, right? You already got booked. I think it's a combination of everything, but to me, kind of one of the other that's one of the other things kind of adding to it is you don't know who you're going to get as far as an official. You don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in. Are they going to be able to tolerate this shit? It just varies so much game to game that I think it's hard to have a baseline of kind of what you can say or some of the gestures you can make. I remember was it the Villa game? Whoever John McGinn plays for, Villa. He clearly showed a yellow to the official. Nothing. Like, cool. So we're just gonna skip that whole thing, apparently now. Like it's stuff like that. Like we've obviously seen it happen to us, especially with Jackson. Other teams do it and nothing happens. It's like, that's the thing that you're trying to enforce, and not everybody's enforcing it. So I think it's hard to kind of make heads or tails when it comes to stuff like that. But I I think it's just an additional piece that kind of leads to the maturity part of it as well.
We commit 12 and a half fouls a game. 3.5 of those are yellow cards.
Worth it.
Most amount of yellow cards out of any club in the Premier League. Arsenal, by the way, have 18. They're at the bottom of the table. In terms of fouls committed, we're third, 12.6. We're also the 5th most fouled club. So, is it a style of play thing, maybe? Where
I was just gonna say,
talk shit, get hit kind of thing.
and we talked about it in the chat. Like Chelsea went from one of the more boring clubs to watch last year to one of the most exciting this year. I think it's because some of the games are a little more open. There's physicality to it. There's a buzz about them. There's some energy, and there's some hard tackles. I don't think anyone likes us, and I don't think we like many people either. So I think matches are pretty physical, and it leads to a choppier, chippier kind of a game, and it leads to some more openness of play. I think it's been entertaining as a fan, even though it's been frustrating at times as a diehard fan. It's been entertaining football to watch.
All right. Well, we'll go to one more topic here before a quick round of gun to your head. Robert Sanchez, Chelsea high. So this season alone, high 7 saves in this one. Several crucial saves toward or down the stretch there, which I feel like happens every game now. I'll ask it again. Robert Sanchez, top 3 keeper in this league?
I don't know if he's a top 3 keeper, but I do have an olive branch to extend to you, Collins. We instead of you trying to show us how good he is, and Matt and I, and I'm speaking for you, Matt, I'll just speak for myself, us trying to say how poorly he can distribute the ball. We need to just meet in the middle and shake hands and call him exactly what he is. He is a great shot stopper with absolutely terrible distribution, and we just need to stop trying to get each other on our side for this and meet ourselves in the middle, because he did have great saves. my favorite part about his game today wasn't even the saves. It was the commanding of the box on corners, which he's proven in other games. This isn't new to him, but that's my favorite part because corner kicks come in and dangerous corner kicks at that, and he's able to command it. He made one save that impressed me today. The rest of them seemed pretty routine. But to his credit, he makes saves. He hangs onto the ball. He doesn't parry it into play. Like he did exactly what he was supposed to do today, and I got nothing bad to say about him today. Didn't have anything bad to say about him last week either, and I went on record there too. I think he's played a lot better since, but he still doesn't distribute the ball well, and he almost let a ball go under his foot into the goal today. So both things are true. Both things are true. He did great, and he almost cost us the game again. Like he's both people in the same body. He's both of them.
All right. Well, Matt, before you chime in, I'm just going to cut the conversation off right there. I'll accept that olive branch. I will admit he's not a great distributor of the ball. He is an elite shot stopper. It works with what we're doing this season. Now, do we need somebody different when we get back into Europe? We'll see when we get to that point. But Parker, you brought up a question pre-pod that kind of transitions off of this. Sanchez makes great saves. You know, he's been great between the sticks. Why are we conceding so many goals?
Matt,
Go ahead.
I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, I think we're allowing too much comfortable possession in our third. I think we're allowing too many easy balls into the box. And then I think we're allowing too many controlled touches in our box. When you looked at the stats of touches in opponent's box, it was like 12 for us and like 22 for them. And so while they might not be creating goal scoring opportunities every time, I think we need to be more resolute in the middle. And then I think we need to shut things down when it goes out to the wings, more pressure on ball for sure. I watched City play today against Tottenham, and City just come across as relentless. I know they drew that game against Tottenham, but City and their press feel relentless. They just seem like they hover around people and they can make people commit errors. I think we're just too easy on folks from time to time. So I think it's a lot of things, but it hasn't been Sanchez. At least the past 4 games, it hasn't really been him. But I look at a team that's conceded 2 to Brighton, 4 last week. I know 10 men for, so that comes into play there, but 4 against City, which it's City. But 2 to Brentford doesn't look great. So we've been conceding a lot of goals. And I know I made the point early in the season, which was just if we allow people to get touches and good looks in the box, they're going to score against us. And just because Luton wasn't, I saw that they were getting into those positions. And I'm like, look, if City get in those same positions, they're going to score against us. And they did. They have. And so I think we need to be more commanding when it comes to our defense and shut things down before it gets too far.
I think from a defensive standpoint, we need to be more of enforcers. So Parker kind of adding on to your point, it's too soft. Like anytime there's a set piece in the box, especially off a corner, we always look like we're late to the party, right? We saw that today with Brighton second. Like we just look late. Like, okay, well, this person's going to try and take it, and then, well, I'll be kind of behind just in case, but then that's where the opposition usually finds those gaps. It's, I don't know, like go up and get the damn ball. It's kind of my attitude, right? Go up, get the ball. I just don't feel like we're doing enough of that right now. It does seem like, at least for me, whenever I watch an opposition with a corner, I hold my breath every single time. There's no confidence at all, and it shows, right? Because we usually let in a lot of those. Right at the end of the match, I was hoping that there would not be a corner or a set piece because I was worried that something was going to happen. We just need to be more assured in our defense that, it's kind of the old thing. No, my ball, like, it's mine. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna win it, and then we'll go from there. I think that's got to be the biggest starting point.
Yeah, I think set pieces is honestly it. And to, I guess, a little bit to bounce off what you said, being a little bit more aggressive. I don't think we can with the group that we have out there. Thiago Silva is not going to be able to get up on somebody at all times. Like he's just not fast enough anymore. He doesn't have the quick reflexes. He needs to be off players so that he can make those challenges. That means you're going to have somebody also hovering to clean up any messes. So what does that leave you? It leaves you wingbacks. We don't have any wingbacks. And the wingbacks we have either get suspended or get injured. So I hate to say, and Parker, I know you've gone back and forth on it. And I hate to say it because I love Thiago Silva and I don't want to tarnish Thiago Silva's reputation or anything like that because everybody listens to our podcast. But maybe it's time to phase him out a little bit. Save him for the big matches. Right? United match. That's a big one. Rest him for Everton and Sheffield. Let Benoit, let Disasi, let my guy out there. Levi Colwill, let him run. Like it's time. Because if we want center backs who've got that dog to them, you can't have Thiago Silva in a back four, maybe a back five, but that requires a system change, and that's a whole nother issue. But outside of that, man, set pieces, just our Achilles heel for years now. That's been bad. So yeah, I agree. It's not Sanchez. I don't think it's the individual pieces. I think it's how the individual pieces fit in to that system.
One other thing I'll kind of throw into it is our midfield. And it seems like a lot of times whenever the opposition is attacking, it's like we aren't back fast enough. Or if we are, we just throw out the classic Jorginho, Ole, half a leg, and just say, oh, well, next person, go ahead, clean this up. Like at times it does seem like that, right? Like we can be the most solid midfield, but as soon as something happens, a few passes get linked together, our midfield is playing catch up, trying to get back now. And Enzo's not the fastest. He's not. Caicedo can't cover three people. Connor does get his ass back, but him and Enzo are pushing so far forward that both of them have to try and come back and do all that work to try and help out, right? I think part of it can also go to the midfield as well, right? It's not just that back four. The midfield has to be able to help out. And from some of the things I've seen, it seems like we're so set on going forward, we forget that we have to defend until it's too late.
Well said. Well, boys, we're pushing the hour. We had planned on doing a full Man U preview, but we'll change it to a round of gun to your head. Got Manchester United on Wednesday the 6th at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford. Manchester United, a weird run of form, I'll say. Lost to Newcastle, draw against Galatasaray, wins over relegation clubs, and lost to Copenhagen. They're all over the place. Andre Onana, all over the place. Jadon Sancho, what's going on with him? Who knows? They have as many issues as we do, right? 3 points would be big here. Boys, gun to your head. What's the result on Wednesday?
3-1. Chelsea win.
2-2 draw.
Ooh, okay. That was the number that came to my head. 2-2 draw, but I'll change it. 3-2 Chelsea. All right. Well, boys, again, pushing the hour mark here. Matt, what's your closing thought?
Happy early birthday, Collins.
Oh, fuck. I got to remember that one. Come on. Play into the bit.
That's our closing thought. Happy early birthday.
I appreciate
You didn't
it.
ask, but my closing thought was shout out to Ziyech scoring 2 goals against United for Galatasaray.
Thank you.
Agent Z.
Agent Z. Love it. All right. Well, make sure to check us out on social media. Oh, boys, we got one more thing. I forgot. We haven't done it in a minute. Man of the match, man, I get the fuck out of here. So before we get into my whole spiel, let's check those out. Check these polls out on our social media. Check it out on Twitter. Just follow us at FlagDownPod. They're up after every game. Man of the match poll, best performance out of any Chelsea player. We've got 4 nominees here: Thiago Silva, Enzo Fernandez, Mihajlo Mudryk, and Benoit Badiashile. Parker, where are you going?
Enzo.
Enzo.
Sweep it. Enzo. And we're a pot of the people. Enzo coming away with 60% of the vote. Turning to our man of the get the fuck out of here poll. This is the worst thing from a Chelsea perspective about the match, coined by our very own Parker. Got 4 nominees here: officiating, Levi Colwill, Conor Gallagher, or just Brighton.
I voted Gallagher with the red. It just I was happy our team had the resilience to play a man down for a lot of this, for the entire second half, I should say, and still pull off a win. It shows the character of the team. But as a captain, you gotta be better than that, man. You gotta hold yourself to a higher degree, and you're a leader out there. And if you're not out there, you can't really lead. So he was the worst part for me.
Just a clarifying question. Can you be man of the get the fuck out of here if you already got the fuck out of here? Asking for a friend. For me, Brighton, I just fucking go away. Like, yeah, we took everybody, literally everybody, their whole staff and their best players. Sucks to suck, but yeah, Brighton can just fuck right off.
Ooh, split decision here. I like the Brighton shout out there. I think Gallagher's the obvious call. I went Colwill. I thought he was responsible for both goals, and then potentially the penalty at the end, which was not at all penalty. He had a shitty game. I know he's playing out of position, but gotta do better. So Gallagher was the winner with 54%. Officiating in second, must have had some Brighton fans voting at 24%. Brighton at 16%. Colwill at 8%.
Also, just want to give a quick shout out to my favorite. Shout out to Billy G. He actually had himself a pretty damn good game, and the Chelsea shithouse where he was there. So I like to see it. But I actually thought he played really well for Brighton today. So just want to give him a quick shout out. Big fan of his. So
awesome. All right. Well, make sure to check out our polls and follow us on all social media. We're everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, Reddit. I don't know. What was the old Google one? I'm sure we're on there too. Just follow us at FlagDownPod. Google Hangout. I think that's what it was. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, please, we ask in this season of giving, you give us a 5-star rating. Maybe leave us a review. Shit on us if you want. We just want them 5 stars. Boys, concludes another wonderful week in Chelsea football. Another topsy-turvy, all over the place kind of week. So, to Agent Z and whatever the fuck Matt said.
Happy early birthday.
Cheers.
Birthday, buddy.